Hello and welcome to the Life After Losses video blog. Now, yes, I have been gone for 3 weeks. I couldn't get the video to work, which is a reminder to me that I probably should record the video ahead of time, which also means that I have to write ahead of time the next time I take time off, which is going to be a while. So for now, I'm back with some vacation scruff, and this is entry number 183 about the importance of telling stories. Now, if you've been reading these pages or watching these videos for any length of time, you know that I tend to take cues from the universe about topics to write about. Now, this week is no different, though it is a topic I wrote about a few months ago, and it's about sharing our stories and the healing power within. And this week I had several conversations about storytelling, and I was reminded by my personal social media that 6 years ago this week I recorded and told my story to someone for the first time. Perhaps that was the incubator for writing Life After Losses. When I recently released Grief Recovery for Adults, I introduced something I called the Purpose Framework. And if you haven't read the book yet, the Purpose Framework stands for perceive reality, unload your emotional baggage, reach out for support, probe for personal significance, open a new chapter, save cherished memories, and embrace personal growth. So in the context of this framework, I thought it might be a good idea to spend the next several weeks actually talking about each of these subjects and why I found them so important to include in the book and the journal. Since storytelling is at the top of my mind, I'm going to take a deeper dive into one of the topics in the framework under embracing personal growth. And just like any other framework, the healing part of grieving is not linear, so taking this out of order is not an issue. So here's what's so important about telling stories. We're not just recounting what happened. We're extending our hand to help others know that they're not alone. That's why I tell my story, so you know that you're not alone in your grief. You can learn from me. You can learn from others. You can learn from yourself. That's how I learned from mine. Telling our stories helps us process our emotions. And this ties into that perceived reality topic too. And finding the meaning of our loss. It wasn't until I nearly finished writing Life After Losses that I found some clarity and understanding, not to mention gratitude for the lessons learned from both of my losses. Telling our stories allows us to see the growth that we make in our healing journey. We share our strength and vulnerability, which fosters connections, empathy, and understanding with others. For some of us, our stories are powerful tools for advocacy. MAD, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving, is an example of advocacy from loss and telling a story. Black Lives Matter, the Compassionate Friends, the Sandy Hook Promise, the Lullaby Trust, Fight Colorectal Cancer, the Jed Foundation, ACT UP, and countless other advocacy organizations were born from loss and grief and the telling of our stories. Our stories can change the world on a global scale, or we can change the world one person at a time. Our stories inspire others. Over the last 3 years, I've shared my story with thousands of people, and many of you remain subscribers and get this entry every week. Some have decided it's not for them, but in sharing my story, I believe I'm inspiring others to live again. I share what worked for me, what didn't work, and various other options in all 3 books to date. And someone will find some kind of nugget in my work for their own life. Sharing our stories helps build community, a shared bond of loss that brings understanding and empathy to each other. And while I'd love to see more interaction and community posting on the Facebook page, I know that there's a community within the thousands of subscribers I have. I'd like to invite you to go over to the Facebook page and introduce yourself and share your story. There's so many options nowadays to be able to share your story between social media, personal blogs, or websites like this, books, podcasts, YouTube videos. There's no shortage of places to share. And if social media isn't your thing, find opportunities to share with groups, go to workshops or conferences, or make a community event for people to share their stories. Or you can simply email me by hitting that reply button. Next week we'll start discussing the purpose framework, starting at the beginning with P and perceive reality. It's a fundamental truth and foundation to healing. So until next week.